Good morning, everybody. Hopefully we're live and you can see us. Just a very quick welcome, and we'll then get into it. So this is our first LinkedIn Live of the year, and our focus today is going to be on a kind of digital presence, online presence marketing theme. So the new structure for our ConeX events, we are going to be hosting a regular LinkedIn Live once a month. Focusing on a different series of topics throughout the year. I will share a link in the chat in a moment where everyone can see those themes and topics. So if anyone wants to get involved in any future sessions, then just get in touch with me. We then follow up that LinkedIn Live with a members mastermind later in the week, where we do a little bit more of a deep dive with our guests and with our hosts, and work on some kind of actionable tips and tricks and get members working together and collaborating. And that's the whole aim of ConeX, is to support one another and collaborate. So that's what we're doing with our mastermind sessions. During the course of this session, I'll put a few links and things in the chat, as I say, in terms of following up with the team and what we're up to. And of course, as always, please make sure you're asking any questions in the comments, and we'll make sure that they get put across to Adam and Rach. So I think we're going to focus on a very quick kind of top three today, aren't we? So I'll let you both introduce yourselves, and then I'm going to ask you both a question, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
So who wants to start?
Now, here's a quick question for me. Is this the top three for what we are looking at from in our business, or the top three in general?
So it's going to be more of a general things that you think people should be doing this year. Top three things that they can't afford not to do, essentially.
Yeah, it's going to be no different to what we're focusing on from us anyway. So
exactly.
So yeah, Adam Payne, New Way Growth, and I have a Factor IQ, TCM UK, and TCM UK 3D as well. And obviously, we are utilising my LinkedIn Live here as well. So yes, when do you want to do the top three? Should we introduce ourselves first, then do the top three?
Yes, we'll go to Rachel now, and then we'll do a top three after that.
Yeah. Hi everyone, you guys know me. I'm Rachel. I run the Hammond agency in the Southwest, and we are a content, storytelling and SEO focused agency. And I'm very, very passionate about planning and also using the tools that we have to build human connections with our audience, not just sending out spammy marketing, so we can separate out the sales from the marketing.
Sounds very good. So I'm going to go. How should we do this? Let's
hear yours first, Sam.
Oh, put me under.
Are there three things that are there three digital things that are in your mantra for the year ahead, or are you waiting to hear what Adam and I have got to say?
Well, you're the experts, so you know. No, I'll give you my top three, and then what we'll do a kind of alternate one each and go from there. So, well, essentially, put them in massively on the spot. My number one is going to be just general streamlining and working on our events package. As I kind of mentioned earlier, that we've completely restructured the way that we're doing events, and we're making every month themed and organized, which includes at least 3 online events a month. So having an area for members to find where those events are and easily access those events, even as far ahead as the end of the year, December kind of time. That's all online and ready for people to access. Which then brings down to the kind of front end of what we're doing, and the talking to new people and connecting and collaborating and working on new projects. So that's a kind of improvement on the website and constantly updating the website. In the past, I have not been great at constantly updating things and keeping things changing and moving, and I understand from SEO and all of that stuff that's something that's quite important, that needs to be constantly kept up to date and modified. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be working on this year. As I say, the event side of things. And what else have we got? Don't know. We'll come back to me at the end for my third one.
Okay.
I'll base my third one on your top tips. So who wants to kick off with their first one?
I'll go my first one. And by the way, these top three they're not in any order at all. They're probably all equally as priority for us and our focus, and also for anybody's focus. So number one, marketing. That's my first one. And as a business focused on enabling growth and development for SMEs, new way growth, perfecting our own marketing strategy reflects its expertise. So that's what we're looking at doing, in particular new way growth. But that cuts across all the businesses: marketing, and that is both digital and offline, so both online and offline presence, and how we do that. So that's what.
How long does someone who supports clients with marketing work on marketing on their own business?
Every day, I will be working on the marketing of the business. Some days it will be longer, and I would say a minimum of probably 90 minutes are associated with marketing. That's whether that is if I'm working with a client personally, then I'll be doing it of an evening, or one of the others will be doing it and looking at it. So yeah, it's constant, because especially with the digital side, I think as I was talking the other week, it shifts quickly. So social media and the different trends can shift quickly. So you've got to be able to maximize on those opportunities. The different things in with the platforms. I think we were saying last Friday, I think in the ConeX networking, how it went from long form video to live video to short form, and it can shift very, very quickly. So that's just one aspect.
Yeah, and obviously it's keeping on top of those sorts of things.
Yeah,
Rachel.
Kind of similar, as I'm sure Adam would expect. I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to assume that marketing is already on the agenda, because we can't have businesses if we don't market. And as Adam says, I probably spend about 90 minutes average a day, and I try and have a good solid 4-hour stint of doing something strategic in the marketing. So actually making some plans. So that's my first action is a strategy, or be strategic. And by that, I mean take a step back, look at what your business goals are, look at what your business is doing, and then work out what you need marketing to deliver or to do to get you one step further to those goals. I think Sam is sick of me saying this, but if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. And it's a cliche, because it is so very, very, very true. And it's really tempting at this time of the year to jump in and dive and learn a new tech, or send a load of emails, or just do something. But honestly, we're ants in jam if we don't know why we're doing it and what end result we want to have.
Couldn't agree more.
Good stuff.
I think the other side for me is as well, is if you're doing your strategic side now at this time of the year, you're late, in my opinion. Mine was done started off in August, September of last year, and then finalized in November, December. So that's just the strategic element.
We'll go to a question from Charles. He's put something in the chat. Difficult question, which is what we like, and it obviously varies from customer and sector and client to client. But what proportion of revenue should companies be spending on marketing?
Revenue or profit?
Good question. I guess profit. Give us a percentage of profit that should therefore be spent on marketing.
Do you know what I'm going to say here? You spend what you can spend, but don't ever not do it. You've got to, so regardless of, it should be planned in. I don't, if we've got varying clients, varying spend levels, so it all depends on where you are, what you're looking to achieve. Are you looking from a paid advertising point of view? Are you looking to buy your audience? Are you looking to organically grow? So you've got to suss that out from a strategic point of view. So I do not think there is ever a percentage allocation. This is just my opinion. It's based on where you are seeing your priorities, what your priorities are on, and marketing should be at the forefront. It is not one of these things that when we are in a downturn, we turn off because it's not value added, because it is value added. So you should be spend there. So for me, it's around what you can afford to do it. And that is, when I look at that, it's not just the cost of money, it's the cost of time. Like Rachel was saying, you know, from a strategic element of putting 4 hours in on the strategy, that's time, and there is a cost associated to it. So it's not just the spend and things like that; it's the time allocation we have to give it in, and we should be spending time on it. So for me, it's what you are comfortable with, but do not do it. As simple as that. Absolutely,
and I think as well, I think you've just said something really important there, Adam, about the allocation of time, because I work with a few bit. There's a metric, isn't there? 10%. Spend 10% of your income or your profit on your marketing. So you're constantly feeding back into the business. It's not a metric I really like, because you can go down a rabbit hole and you can spend that money where it isn't needed, but convince yourself that you're doing something to market your business. And, you know, social media or PPC would be, I would say, probably two really big sucks of spend for a business. But actually, if you stood back and thought how much time you take, I would reckon it in some cases it would be far more than the 10%. Or if you could only afford as a business to invest £500 a quarter in marketing, that might sound really, really small, but actually if you're buying in strategy and guidance and support, what you're then doing is putting in far more than that £500 spend, because it's probably your time or your team's time, or you're crunching data, or you're delivering, you're doing something to keep that overall billable cost down, but it's still a considerable investment, and it's still something you want to attach to return and growth as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you picking up on exactly what Rachel was saying there is your internal process from a marketing to sales point of view. So marketing opens the door that what sales closes. So you could be 80-20 rule across your business around what's happening within your marketing and sales. And if you find that it's a sales process, right, improve your sales process, because your conversion rate's going to go up. So it's not just the cost of that paid advertising and things like that. Is if you are looking and have got your finger on the pulse across your processes, you've got the analytics, and it's telling you, sort it.
And
but do not sort it.
No, it's the basics as well. It doesn't matter how much you spend. All the marketing spend in the world won't fix a broken pipeline or a broken lead process or poor customer comms.
True.
Which I'm sure our caller doesn't have.
Let's go with number 2. So your first one was obviously a focus on marketing, internal marketing strategies, that sort of thing. What have you got for your number 2 that you have to be doing this year online, Adam?
Oh, you got me there. You got me there. So I thought you were going to go Rachel. Rachel, you're going to go first. Yeah, I went first last time. Go on, Rachel. You go.
Go on, Rachel. You can go.
I'm going to say goals, because, and by goals, I don't just mean want to separate out why the goals are different to the strategy, because goals tell us where we're going, and if we know where we're starting, if we're in touch with our data, if we've got good analytics, we've got good business plan, robust business plan, if we're setting those goals and we can measure how we're doing. And very often with marketing, we might set for one area of success, we might not hit those metrics, we might not hit that return, but what we've learned along the way is so valuable for the business. And I think about this with SEO and PPC and email marketing, is I might get a drop in metrics on email marketing opens, but if I look at the whole picture, I can see the impact that email has had on traffic, and maybe that email has been forwarded or bookmarked. And the same for PPC ads. We might have a click through, we might have a spend which is too high, but actually what we're getting in terms of awareness is part of the bigger marketing picture. So I like those goals, and I like to know where I start from so that I can plan, you know, like Sam, where you're saying there to be more streamlined, work out how you're going to be more streamlined, and look and make sure, because you've got that as a goal, you can put all the tools and all the practices in place to make sure that that goal stays top of mind. And I bet when we have this conversation at the end of the year, you'll have smashed it, because you'll have put it down on the goal sheet, and you'll have worked out how to do it, and you've got Adam and I to keep you in check when it goes a little bit adrift as well.
Never goes adrift. Every goal I set, I achieve to the perfect detail, of course.
Of course you do. Of course.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. That reviewing stage is so important.
Yeah, and don't be scared as well. It's
a measurable goal as well.
Yeah, it's daunting, isn't it, Adam, setting smart goals? It's daunting facing the reality of where we start, particularly if we've invested in marketing or sales and on the ground marketing like shows and things. That, you know, the spend for the business for the year can be really, really huge. And actually it can be quite a stark reminder that we maybe fell short, but also that we overachieved in other areas. But just knowing what that baseline traffic and baseline interaction is absolute marketing gold.
Couldn't agree more. Adam, what's your number 2?
So I'm looking quite general, obviously, because from as I was saying. So ours is providing value. Your reputation depends on it. So my why, which is transferred into the business across the businesses, is the success of our communities will come from the businesses that thrive within it. So the more business I can help get through that high growth, high value gateway, the better both socially and economically will be. So ours is about making our clients successful, providing that value, and you can never provide enough value for us. So that sole focus is around that, because I know that is going to have a massive impact.
Swing that around to obviously not within your business, so more generalized manufacturing. How would you advise manufacturers to provide value and reputation and things like that you've just talked about that you're doing for your business?
That's a big question. The main focus, and again, it probably comes on to my last one, which is user experience. So it all comes back to that customer side, and really making sure that everything your customer is successful, everything you've done is efficient, it's been enjoyable, it's been stress-free. So anything that is, as Rachel was saying there, if from a process point of view, if you've got processes that are not delivering what we need to deliver for the customer point of view, then we need to change the processes. From a manufacturing point of view, whether that's looking at dialing in the key performance indicators around what it is you're looking to do. So if you're suffering with on-time delivery, I mean, I've been in businesses where the on-time delivery has been at like 7%, 3% in some cases, which is just shocking. Well, you're never going to satisfy customers or give value at that. So again, it depends on where your key performance indicators are showing you, highlighting you. But then there's also the courtesy of just how you are picking on something like the phone, or answering the phone within 3 rings, 5 rings, and things like that, and being courteous, and and how you tackle and your language and everything like that across the board. How you operate as a managing director, as a director within the business, and face to face with your customers. It's a whole host. It's a big question, that one.
That you've just said there is just the general responsiveness and just kind of that perception that you give across to customers, not even customers, leads, anyone emailing you, anyone answering the phone, anyone doing any kind of engagement in your company. Just an honest response, just not ignoring things, answering the phone politely, just being courteous and just talking to people.
Contact is first contact is essential, because although we're judged on perception, aren't we? And we shouldn't. We need to get to know, and you don't judge a book by its cover and things like that. But I read a post this morning with James Worthington, my work, where people buy from people.
Yeah.
So your whole attitude and everything has got to be on par with your values and principles and things like that, and that's how it should be. So providing that value, then you can get into the value of the component, the product, or the service, or whatever you're going into as well. But there are just some general.
You're going to send work to the people that you kind of get on with and respond to well, and kind of line up with your values and ethos. If you pick up the phone or you go to phone a new supplier or a company, and they're rude and they're short and they don't want your work and they don't want to talk to you, or they don't even answer the phone, you're not going to phone them back in a few months when another project comes through, are you?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think there was, I'll let Rachel jump in a bit, but one example of this was Derek Sivers, who had CD Baby, American bloke, and it went viral for him because he redid the way we did CDs and had them recorded and things like that, and then delivered out. And one of the delivery emails went through the notification was telling the customer it was being packaged by, the CD was being flown by Doves or something like this, and they were handled in cotton gloves and on a pillow, and it was all being packaged up. And that email went viral for him, and that email alone brought him in a cartload of custom because it got traction through that virality of it being so different. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's the, you know.
Yeah. Stand out, be unique. And Rach, what was your number 3?
It's really interesting that this is all syncing so well, considering we hadn't shared ahead of the call what our 3 things were. But my third is a tie, actually, and it's action. Just do it. A strategy, a plan, a goal, a metric, a budget is only half of the battle. And even if it's not perfect, even if it's not bang on your output, perfect is the enemy of done. Just get it. Keep going with your content. But really, it has to be, my word for the year is human. It has to be human. And I think that we are interesting what you were saying there about contact and the impact that contact has, and fessing up when things go wrong, or just keeping those hard customer comms going. If we've learned anything different about business in the last 3 years, it's that actually we really value our network and we really, really value our people. And I think as we're going into 2024, there is a fresh desire for human connection face-to-face. We're already seeing events and face-to-face events better attended and oversubscribed. But I think that accounts for our marketing and our comms as well. I think the generic one size fits all, the spray and pray, I think we're over it. What I want as a business is real time, real value driven communications and honesty, and bringing that honesty into our marketing. We can do it when we know our customer and we're certain about the value we're delivering for our customer. It becomes really, really easy. And I'd like to see a bit more of it. I think that's what, B2B is hard, but it's not impossible to be human in our comms.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. No more chatbots. AI's got its place, but AI can't do emotion and it can't do context. That's our job. If we use AI as a starter, that's our job, to put that human touch and that context into those comms.
Yeah. It's you. Yeah. I don't want to dive into an AI hole, but
no.
We have a topic themed on AI later in the year, so we can dive into it there. But yeah, there's definitely a time and a place, and as you said, Adam, people deal with people, or as James Worthington said, give them a shout out while we're there, and that is true, and it always will be true ultimately. We saw in
the thing is as well, you know, within manufacturing, it will depending on what your business is doing. We have like an e-commerce. An e-commerce will come in. It'll be probably off a website, self-qualifying into the basket. You're self-qualified, bang, and you're out. So that funnel is very, very different compared to something like in manufacturing, where it is very, very convoluted. Yeah. So it will more than likely start off where somebody has sourced your online presence or seen you within LinkedIn or been face to face, but then it will actually go to being face to face as well. And then understanding, you know, on that customer value journey is that your capital expenditure they're gonna buy from you. You may need to deal with the purchasing department, an operations director, a finance director. So you've got a number of different people that you've got to get to know and learn the different things on as well to obviously make the sale. So it's very, very convoluted. And it goes to Chris Ward asking a question here. I was going to reply to him. He was saying, how much of the marketing message, you know, whether strategic or tactical, focus on your company's offering and abilities, and how much focuses on solving your target audience's problems? It solves the target audience's problems. Then the person that's looking at your stuff is not interested in your offering and abilities. It's the pain that they are receiving. And I think there was and I know there is. I think it was Schwartz back in the 60s did the 5 levels of customer awareness. Most aware, unaware, solution aware, problem aware, and understanding where that is, because that form like the sales funnel, and understanding where your customers are in that funnel. So it is, I
was going to say,
it's complex, but it's, it's interesting. That's why
Rach,
we Rachel do what we do.
I was going to say, Rach, have you got anything to add on that question from Chris Ward? So talking about marketing messaging, focusing on your own company or solving target audience problems. The reason I'm asking is because I've got a separate question for Adam in a second.
Oh, okay. No, I think it's a real balance, and you need to do both. I think we can fall into the trap of being first-person responders and only talk about the value that we add. But actually, we've got to put ourselves in the seats of our customers, and this is where analytics and audience knowledge is really important. Keeping an eye on macro factors, the world stage economics changes. There's all these things which feed into buying decisions in manufacturing and in the sector. And actually, it's thinking about how much we solve those problems as well. That should be the prime message, is what our customer needs from us. And then how we do it, or the value we add, should be the secondary message and the backstop.
Yeah, completely agree. So this leads quite nicely onto our session later on in the week. So as I say, these kind of LinkedIn Lives, very much introductory, having a bit of a discussion, getting some questions going and that sort of thing. And then we're going to be diving into this in a lot more detail on Friday. So before we leave, I'm going to dive into a very quick question that has come from a member separately. And obviously this is the sort of thing that we're going to be talking around in a little bit more detail on Friday, because it is very specific to a company and their business. So we can actually talk about it in more detail with them. So Adam, where would you focus your marketing budget if you're specifically targeting 18 to 30-year-olds in manufacturing?
That's
I ask you because I know you keep an eye on age ranges and where they are and what they do.
Yeah, the interesting one, if we're talking online, the interesting one is the demographics are changing. And the age groups. So if you were to take LinkedIn, I think me and Rachel talked about this the other week. If you take LinkedIn, most of us would have probably said that like the 34 to 44 year age group is where people are on LinkedIn, but that's not the case.
No, I have
the
more
younger generation, are on LinkedIn now, almost as much as the generation of the managers and things like that. So it is changing.
And I'm working with students as young as 17 who are getting their LinkedIn profile ready, particularly those that know their career path. By the time they're departing A levels or looking at next steps post 17, they've got their LinkedIn in order, and they're very, very content driven as well. They like the space, and they like to see something different in the space.
The younger generation are turning away from mainstream media.
Yeah.
They don't believe in it. They don't believe they're being told the truth. So they are turning to other platforms, the likes of Twitter, LinkedIn, and that side. But again, it depends. It depends on what that member is asking. Is what is their objective in looking at that age group? Is it to attract them in from a job market point of view, or is it to actually, as a person purchasing? Because there are different things around that. Is that if you were looking from attracting in from a job market point of view, TikTok might be one that you could do that on, because they're there for entertainment, and you can make that from an informative side there. As well as LinkedIn, as well as Twitter, but it depends. You got to get to grips with what your objective is, and then suss that. There's you got to do the attachments work, the analysis work,
and obviously that's hopefully going to be a bit of the plan for Friday. So depending on numbers and the members that we've got and the topics and the themes, then we can have potentially one-on-ones with you guys and really dive into some of this stuff. The reason that we're doing it in this format and the reason that we're doing masterminds is because I don't just want to set up another networking group where we all sit around the room for an hour and just complain about problems. I want to actually dive into these problems and offer value and get some solutions out of them. So if anyone wants to learn a little bit more about those mastermind sessions, then please let me know. I've just put a link into the chat, which goes through all of our events themes for the year. And it also has a method to contact both Rachel and Adam should you wish to follow up directly with them as well. So I think we'll bring this one to an end. Definitely very useful. I've now got 5 goals plus to go on, which I'll be writing down and putting in a post possibly next week. So obviously, thank you both for hosting and thanks for supporting. And we'll see you on the mastermind session on Friday.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Excellent. See you guys Friday.
See you later.